Hey, what's up, guys? Dale Cover here, back with another joke writing video to help you become the best comic you can be. I put out a couple of videos not too long ago. Well, it's been a little while now. One was writing punchlines, and the other one was joke writing, something like that. I forget the title, but you can definitely go check them out. But I've been getting so much good feedback on those two videos I put out, just two videos, because I kind of wanted to see what people thought, see if it was something that people actually got value from. And the feedback I got has been great. People have been asking me, requesting me to make more videos. So, I guess that's what I was looking for. So definitely back to do that. One gentleman in particular, his name was Eagles. He's from Nigeria. He really appreciated it. His friends appreciated it. They're young comics, and he actually sent me a list of 8 topics that he wanted me to cover. I'm going to cover the first one for him and you guys. And this one is being organic. Now, being organic as a comic, well, the word organic, first of all, has a few different meanings. So I looked up a definition to kind of make sure I get it right, try to answer the question that he's asking. Organic can mean organized and systematic, or it can mean natural and unique. Okay, so I'm going to go with the natural and unique to answer this question. I definitely think being organized and systematic as it relates to comedy is something good, so I'll cover that in another video. But for this video, we're going to talk about being natural and unique. And basically, when I talk about things, I really just try to share my experience, because I may be maybe a little ahead of you guys as far as building my comedy career, maybe because I've been doing it a little bit longer or whatever. So the point I'm trying to make is I don't claim to know everything, but what I can do is hopefully save you time and share with you some of the things that I've seen as I've gone through it. And if you have things that you want to share as well, definitely do that, because at the end of the day, the whole goal is just to be the best comics that we can be personally. Not better than each other, because I don't believe that we're in competition with each other. I think as a comic, we're in competition with ourselves. I know I'm in competition with myself. So definitely glad to help you guys out. So being organic as a comic, being natural and unique. One of the things that I do for me is I focus on things that I know, things that I experience in my life, things that I feel make me unique as a person. And I feel like doing that will separate me from other comics simply because I'm me and they're them. Now, what does that mean? Okay, for example, a lot of young comics, one of the first things they do is they go out and they try to shock. They have a little shock humor. They'll talk about their private parts, dick jokes that they call it, and you hear a lot of that kind of stuff. And it's easy to fall into that. You get some quick, cheap laughs for that. But at some point, you're gonna want to grow, and you need material. What do I talk about? I mean, that's it's kind of like you sit down to write jokes, and you got this blank piece of paper staring at you. That's pretty hard. I tried that. I actually tried forcing myself to write jokes. Although that does work to a certain degree. Like, I can sit down. I've had success where I've sat down with a pen and pad and just said, I'm going to come up with a joke. And after an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, I'll come up with something. But for me, that's not the best way, or should I say, it hasn't always yielded the best results. The best results I've gotten, the best jokes I've gotten, are from really paying attention to things that go on around me and happen in my life. And I use those as basis for my material. And it serves a couple of purposes. Like I said, they're really good situations that you'd be surprised that other people can identify with too, and they're personal to you. So what does that mean? If you listen to my comedy set, I talk about my situation, the fact that I'm a married man, I have 2 children. I talk about that. I talk about where I live. I talk about what I do for work. So I talk about things that I've experienced, and I found that if my ears are open, jokes will just be handed to me. I'll give an example. One of my favorite jokes, I get a laugh on this joke every single time. It never fails to be a successful joke. And I didn't even have to write this joke. One day I was driving to school. I drop my kids off every morning. So on the way to school, my son says to me, I'm in the front seat. He says, Daddy, he says, how come when David Banner changes into the Incredible Hulk, his shirt rips and his shoes rip, but his pants don't rip? And I'm looking at him in the rearview mirror. And when he said it, I said, this kid just gave me a joke because that sounded hilarious. Now I had a choice. I could either ruin it or or go with it. And my response was, I don't know. Maybe he's not that incredible, not that incredible, right? So obviously it's a innuendo to play on the size of his endowments. But anyway, I tell that joke exactly the way I just told you. Well, obviously I tell it better, I add the little Dale to it, but word for word, that particular joke wasn't even something written. It was actually something that was said. And so my best recommendation. Oh, okay. So here's the benefit. No one else can tell that joke. No, you can't steal that joke. How do you steal a joke like that? I mean, you can if you want. You can steal a joke. I know a lot of comics are concerned. I hear comics say, "Oh, I don't like going to open mics because they'll steal my jokes." I'm like, I mean, what are they gonna steal? I mean, you can. I just feel like if the joke that you wrote that's about you that comes from your life, how are they gonna steal it, and how are they really gonna pull it off? Really, it doesn't make too much sense. Although yeah, they can steal it, but can they tell it like you? Nah, because you lived it. So that's one example of a really good joke. One of my favorite jokes, and I think it's my favorite just because of the way it came to me. And then you take that joke and you build on that. You say, oh, okay, this is funny. This is a good root. And then what I try to do is take it and exaggerate, and I'll try to think of other things that are similar. I'll give you another example. My grandmother, whenever she's on Facebook, she'll comment on my post, but she always signs her name. She says Nana. She says, I like your post, blah 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 blah, Nana. I think that's funny, like because it's social media. Why are you signing your name? Back in the day when we sent letters to people, we give our little salutations and stuff like that. But on social media, she's doing it. I think it's funny, and so I started telling a joke about that, and it's one of my better jokes because again, this is one that always gets a laugh. And what's interesting is when I tell it, I tell it in such a way. I say, "This is what my grandmother do." Anybody else? And when I tell them what happens, I always see a few people in the crowd say, "Yeah, yeah, me too, me too." So I got a good connection with the people. So it's one of my favorite jokes because again, it's one of the things that I always get a laugh. I've never told that joke and haven't gotten a big laugh, not just like ha 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 ha, like no matter what. And I stick that joke in the middle because I know if I'm doing a long set, like a 20, 25, 30, 40-minute set or whatever, and I need something to kind of pick it up, I like to stick that in the middle because I know it always for some reason it just snatches them up and gets them. And so when we talk about being organic, so what I did with that was the idea. It came to me from something that happened in my life or something that happens in my life, something I experience. So it's personal to me and it's funny to me. And then I took that and then I built other jokes around it on the same similar topic. So that was the one that was kind of handed to me. And then I have a few jokes, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 jokes that over time I turned that into a nice, decent section. So I know when I slide into that section, which when I say section, that kind of brings us back to the other definition of organic being organized and systematic. But we'll talk about that later. But so I took that root of a joke, and then I build other things that are related to it because it's such a good joke. I don't want to just say that and then go on to some other topic. I want to say, okay, let me stay on the topic of my grandmother or elderly loved ones and their relationships with technology and some of the things that happen, right? So that's the whole block of that. So that's, one of the ways how I see being organic. Listen to the things that happen to you, the things that are really interesting, really funny, really unique, really, something that probably no one else or hopefully someone else has experienced it, but it's not something that everyone is talking about. Most people don't just go out there and just talk about that because maybe it hasn't happened to them or, so that's really my approach. And I'll cut this video short. I won't take too long, but I'll just summarize real quick. Like I said, keep your ears and your eyes open because things always happen that are always opportunities to find something funny. And if they happen to you, they're going to be personal to you. And play on it. Just keep your ears and eyes open. All right. So that's my advice. So that's my advice, guys. That's it. I know you're probably sitting here saying, "Really, that's it?" Yeah, I could drag this video on for another 10 minutes, but it's that simple, guys. Okay, do you live your life and share as much of your life with people as you can, and you'll be surprised how many people have experienced some of the same things you had. Don't get caught into the trap of trying to be like everybody else and tell the certain jokes like everyone else. Because at the end of the day, what people really want is something different, and that different can be you. And you'll definitely find a connection with people because we're not all here alone. Everyone has experienced the same things. All right, my name is Dale Covert, and subscribe if you haven't, because this is my third video. But like I said, I got a whole list of things that I'm going to run through, and I'm going to do my best to try to share some of the information I have with you guys so we can all become better comics at the end of the day. All right, my name is Dale Covert. Peace.